Okay, I'm live on where am I? YouTube and Facebook. Okay, whoops. Okay, so I'm just waiting for everyone to turn up. It's a beautiful sunny day today. It was raining earlier, but beautiful right now. So I ain't complaining. Okay, just waiting for everyone to turn up. Getting a few people coming in now. While we're waiting, I'd love to know where you're from. I'm here in Vancouver, Canada. Where are you? Brit Sturge. Oh, hello, Katie. Everything is good with the rain and floods over the weekend. Yeah, we didn't see any of it downtown here. There was some, pretty wet roads, but there was areas in Vancouver that are just horrible. So yeah, we had a lot of rain here. I don't know. There's other things are always breaking records. Michigan, hi Michigan. Manitoba, hi Sarah. I didn't mean hi Michigan. I meant hi Kelsey. I'm expecting to get a lot of new followers, new people coming in the live today. I'll tell you why in a minute. Anyway, so if you're new, welcome. I'm just going to introduce myself in a minute. I wait till I get about maybe 50 people in here, and then I'll get going. Great podcast today. Oh, thanks. I never know what we do. I don't listen to it. I don't know what it was. Oh, allowance. Yeah, I like allowance. That's one of my favorite ones. It was funny because my daughter told me that. She goes, oh, the allowance podcast went up today because we film it in advance. And I said, oh, I love that one. And she goes, that's what you said right as soon as you started the podcast. Oh, I like this one. Some stuff I don't like talking about, but allowance is pretty straightforward. Okay, just waiting here, getting a few more people coming in. Let me see. Yeah, I may as well get going now. So welcome. Okay. So my name is Lisa. I'm a parenting coach. If you're new, welcome. By the way, I got 20,000 new followers here on Facebook just today. I don't know what happened. I think a video just took off. That happens. You go in spurts with this social media. You'll go pretty calm for quite a while, and then all of a sudden you'll get a video that just hits. So welcome. I'm assuming some of you will be new today. I get a lot of regulars in these lives. I've been doing them for a couple of years now. But anyway, thanks so much for joining us. I'm a parenting coach. My name's Lisa. I'm a mom. I'm also a grandmother. So, oh shoot, I'm wearing the wrong hat. Just a minute. There we go. It just came in today. It says grandma. I know it's backwards on my phone, but it's the right way around on YouTube. So this is my new gym workout hat. Anyway, okay. So let's get going. Oh, check out the link above. You'll see my website. My courses are on there. Coaching is on there. And our group coaching sessions with the courses is all explained in there. Okay. How strict of a parent were you? Okay, this is from Olivia on YouTube. How strict of a parent were you? Like following a strict schedule and straying from it? Lunch at noon, nap. Oh no, God, I didn't do any of that. How do I stop the dynamic of good cop, bad cop? Well, I was leader cop. There is no good or bad. It's just I was mom. I was the leader. So, but yeah, I had routines more than schedules. Like I had, okay, so start getting ready for bed, kids, and then they'd go and get ready for bed. But there was a routine. So we didn't necessarily have an exact bedtime or anything, but I was already a leader. When you're learning how to do this, I suggest that you do stick to routines. And that the leader is actually the prized role. You're the one that they tell everything to. So you want to become the leader. There is no good cop or bad cop with this stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I got my grandma hat. I just got this today. It was part of my birthday present last week from my granddaughter. So she's 9.5 months. So yeah, lots of fun. I'll be wearing this to the gym. Be kicking butt at the gym as grandma. Get out of my way. Okay. Oregon, welcome. Whitney, welcome. Okay, can you get into more? This is Kelsey Gray. You're a regular here. I've seen that name a lot. Can you get into more detail about the toy rotation? If they have a kitchen set with all kinds of food and kitchen toys. Okay, what I do is if they have, let's say they have something that they play with every single day, I never put that away, especially if it's something that you want them to play with, like something creative, like a kitchen set. But if it's just something that they look at or, like screens and that, yeah, you don't want that all the time. But I would put away perhaps if they have too much stuff for that little toy kitchen, maybe just rotate and bring new stuff out and put some of the old stuff away. So keep the kitchen out, but maybe put some of the supplies and mix those up. So you could do it that way potentially. But yeah, toy rotation, there is no set number of toys to have out. It's not like that. It's just have very few toys out and you rotate. It helps them to stay focused, and it kind of avoids boredom too. So, and it's interesting because you have so many toys put away. By the time you rotate the old ones that they haven't seen for a while, they're a little bit older. They'll probably play with them differently, right? So you'll see that happen. Okay. A grandma toque. Yeah, I prefer toques actually in the winter because they're so warm. But yeah, I picked this. I actually put what I wanted. I said I want a grandma hat. I do wear baseball caps more at the gym than toques. But yeah. Okay. Well, I don't quite understand this. It's a little bit of a contradiction, Chelsea, and I'll tell you why. Teaching a 3-year-old to use words to stand up for himself with other kids. He learned, no, be quiet, somewhere, not at home. And now he says it when he just doesn't want to listen. How would I navigate this? So you're teaching a child how to stand up themselves with kids. They're going to use that against adults too. So you can just teach him when someone's being mean to him or something, he can just say no and then walk away. But eventually he will decipher between the two. You say you only talk like that when someone's being mean to you or something. So he's old enough to understand that. He's just testing it out on you. He's going, yeah, you're giving me permission to say that. I'm going to use it all the time. I had a client earlier and their kid's just testing everything right now. Just going for it, I'll do this and I'll do that and I'll do that. He's watching, like, are you watching me? What are you going to do about it? So, and he's little, they do that. Okay, well, my 14-year-old acts out so much, breaks things. What do you do then? Okay, you got to set yourself up as a leader with a teenager, okay? Most teenage stuff is coaching, but I do have some tips for that. So these are my top 4 tips for parenting teenagers. And it's a slow burn. Nothing's going to work right away, okay? It takes time. Because how long has it taken your 14-year-old to get where they are? So it's not going to take 14 years to fix this stuff, but it's not going to happen in 14 days. That's for sure. You got to work at this, and you got to stay consistent no matter what your teen is doing. Number 1, you listen to understand and show empathy. You don't listen to gather information to lecture with, or she will shut you out. 14. You didn't say if it's a boy or a girl. Anyway, okay. Anyway, if they want your advice, they'll ask for it. Number 2 is you negotiate as much as possible. It goes something like this. Hey, I want your dirty clothes in the hamper. What do you want from me? Negotiate as much as possible. With teenagers, you don't sweat the small stuff. If they do something stupid and it's not a big deal, just say, well, that was stupid. You want to hear what I did when I was your age? And laugh it off. It's not a big deal. I'm distracting myself with the grandma cap. Anyway, number 4 is don't leverage the good times to discuss the bad times. In other words, when I teach clients how to connect with their teenager, and I say, then next thing you know, you're going out together and you're having fun together, don't use that time to talk about how they've disappointed you the last couple of years. You just have fun, keep it all light and airy. Don't go into deep conversations. They don't like that anyway, no matter what. And if they do want one, let them come to you. Okay. I don't know why I said it so angry, but I wasn't thinking anger. Okay. By the way, thanks for your support here on Facebook. I'm assuming some of you were new. I got 20,000 new subscribers just today on Facebook. My daughter knows all that stuff. She figures out one of the videos did that. Just happens. It's really weird on social media. You can just coast along for ages and all of a sudden you'll spike because you'll get a video that connects with people. I don't understand it. My daughter does all that. I don't understand that. But thanks so much. I really do appreciate that. I put a lot into all this social media stuff. I'm on here all the time. And it's just nice that people are picking it up, right? Because that's why I'm here. I want to help people. Okay, what's a good consequence for a 4-year-old? I suggest you look at the behavior board. It has some ideas on there on consequences, and don't get caught up in it. It doesn't matter. It's just a good deed, doing a chore, washing a window. Don't get caught up in what the consequence is. The punishment does not always have to fit the crime, okay? It doesn't even have to fit the extent of the crime. Like they say, oh, he did something really big. The punishment has to be really big. Not always. Sometimes I'll do that. In coaching, let me worry about that if you hire me. But if you're just doing it on your own, Keep it simple, okay? And keep it manageable. Don't deal with the big stuff right away. The behavior board's completely free. It also has a toddler section now, okay? That's new. It just came out last week, I think. Anyway, so, but on the behavior board, put down a rule for your children that you think you can manage. You want to start easy. If I'm working with you, we might not do it that way. But if you're doing this on your own, yeah, make it something you can manage. Just start slow. I remember, reminds me of when I was a teenager, we were always on diets all the time. When I look back, we were all skinny. So I don't know why we were doing that. But anyway, so, and I remember, it just reminds me of this. I remember thinking, okay, so we're going to diet. And we used to have these little chocolate squares, and they were called AIDS, AYDS, and they were supposedly appetite suppressants. I ate so many of those, it was probably 2,000 calories just in these little things. I guess they had caffeine or something. I don't know what it was. Anyway, it was funny. Obviously, they don't sell those anymore because they were called AIDS. I'm talking like back in 1974 or 1975 when I was a teenager. Anyway, you know, back when the dinosaurs were roaming. Anyway, and I remember thinking, we all did this. We all said, well, you know what we're going to do to kickstart this diet? We're going to fast for 2 whole days, and then we'll diet because our stomach will be shrunk down. You know what we did? We fasted for 1 day, then hogged out for the next week and gained 10 pounds. It's like this with parenting. Don't go in like too much. Don't go in too hard and too fast. Just start small so that you will, in the long run, come ahead, not like us. I remember that we all did it 1 week. It was so funny. And it was so dumb too, because we were so young. We were probably 16 maybe. And when we did it, we were all like, we didn't even laugh at it. Like we were just so mad at ourselves. What a bunch of dopes. Okay. Oh, you remember that? The AIDS. Yeah, the AIDS, it's AYDS, the little diet squares. They were like little caramels, but chocolate. And they were delicious. God, I ate a ton of those things. These are delicious. They're the only reason they were squashing my appetite is I eat like 50 of them. So I was full. Oh, you do remember them. Yeah. Yeah, and then in the 80s, they went away. Wonder why. Okay. I'm having, this is from James Wilsford. Hi, I'm having some real issue with my 9-year-old. He keeps being very shady and sneaky and will make the same mistakes over and over. I've gone from grounding to taking everything from his room and anything. Okay, you've gone too hard. Yeah. Check out the behavior board and you start with don't start with the big stuff. But as I was saying, you want to learn how to set yourself up as a leader. Remember, we're not focused on them. We're focused on you. I don't fix kids. I fix and teach parents here. So I'm teaching you how to be a leader. You start small and you work on the small stuff, master that, and then you get into the bigger stuff. Yeah, I don't know what he's doing, so I can't be specific. You might want to check out the boot camp course too. That goes from 3 to 12 years old. It can actually stretch up to 14, so long as they're not like 14 going on 18, you know, the type. But yeah. Where can I find the behavior board? That's all up above. It's in the link in my bio. I don't know, on Facebook here somewhere. It's my website, BratBusters.com. You'll find everything there. And you can't, someone asked me yesterday, oh, I didn't know you coach. Yeah, I coach one-on-one if you want to work with me. I do have a wait list for that, but you can sign up for that if you're interested. That's all like just one-on-one sessions with me on Zoom or Google Meet now. I've changed over from Zoom. I still do Zoom with the group coaching sessions on Saturdays. That's all on there too, if you're interested. Okay, 2-year-old who climbs and laughs when I do time in with him. I don't really know what time in is. I've heard of it, but I don't look into what anyone else teaches. I don't have the bandwidth for that. Why would I anyway? So yeah, I don't understand all that stuff. But anyway, I don't do that. If you check out my behavior board, it also has a toddler section. It's just a free thing. And it just gives you an idea on how you discipline toddlers. Because under the age of 3, it's different. They're in the moment. You can't have a consequence. It's just consistent corrective actions right in the moment. So yeah, you might want to check that out. Or you can look at the boot camp course for toddlers. It's quite different. There's 2 boot camp courses, one at toddlers, so 16 to 35 months. And that's more a reactive course. Like you react to what they're doing. Oh, let me see, they're doing this now. And then you check it up on the course. It'll tell you what to do. I do suggest you read through the whole thing, but it's more react to what they do because they're not all going to do that crazy stuff anyway, right? So it has bedtime battles, potty training, all the normal stuff. Anyway, but then the other course is quite different. By the way, you are working on your leadership skills when they're a toddler, but it doesn't pay off quite yet. They're not quite getting it yet. By the time they're 3, they have the ability to stop and think before they act. That's why we use a behavior board. You're on that behavior board too. That's what makes this all work. That's what makes it different. Because I teach leadership parenting. You're not an authority. You're not a pleaser. You're a leader. They learn from watching what you do. Anyway, so that goes from 3 to 12 years old. That is when you're at the height of your leadership. When you're a good leader, they want to please you. It's just the way it is. It's a natural instinct to want to please a good leader. We all do that anyway as adults even. If someone makes you feel really, because leaders make them feel good about themselves. If someone makes you feel really good about yourself, don't you kind of want to please them? Like, oh, you want me to help you? You want me to drive you somewhere? You know what I mean? Like, it's just sort of a natural instinct to be really good to a person who makes you feel good. That's what a leader does for kids. They make them feel good. So they want to please you. Then you go into the teen years. That's a little bit different. You want to pass the leadership torch over to them more for the small stuff, especially. And you're still sort of helping them with the bigger stuff. You're careful with all that. Don't micromanage a teenager. They will shut you out and rebel. They're my favorite age, by the way, is teenagers. Okay. Behavior board. Yeah, it's rules and consequences for every family member 3 years old and over. Parents are also on there. If you're not on there, you're not a leader. You're just a dictator or an authority. And never, ever, ever use a reward chart in a home. It works at school. Schools are different. Huge portion of my clients are teachers, principals, and child psychologists. I couldn't do their jobs. They struggle with parenting. Parenting is not like anything else. It's personal. You live with these little humans 24/7. A reward chart at home, because it's personal. It's not a classroom. Reward charts work at classrooms. It's different. A reward chart at home says to your children, you're normally rotten, but if you should happen to be good, you'll get a reward. I do not reward good behavior. I treat it like my baseline. Can you imagine if your husband or wife said to you, you were good today. I think I'll give you a gold star. Wouldn't you say, what the hell was I yesterday? I mean, wouldn't you kind of go, what? It's like that with kids. They just don't know how to articulate that, right? So yeah, don't use reward charts. Big mistake. Behavior board says the different message. When you have a behavior board up, it says you're normally wonderful. If you should happen to do something bad, I know how to deal with it. If I should happen to do something bad, you know how to deal with it. So it's an accountability chart. That's all it is. Yeah, never reward for good behavior because it's patronizing, condescending, and downright insulting. You were really good today, sweetheart. I think I'll take you out for dinner tonight. You were good. Good girl. You get it? It's an insult. Tips for boosting 6-year-old self-esteem. Just praising. I don't praise really a lot. I play with kids. Play is their love language. Fun is their love language. Praise doesn't get anything. They don't care about it. You look at it this way. You play with them, connect with them. That's what builds their self-esteem. Show that you actually enjoy being with them, and that builds their self-esteem. When you enjoy them, they tend to feel good about themselves. Think about it this way. Let's say you have a 5-year-old kid, and you say to that kid, you're wonderful, you're special, you can do anything you want. I love you. Everybody loves you. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, I'm going to go do the dishes now. You watch that kid. Praise does nothing for them. It's for you, not for them. Now you say to that same 5-year-old boy, hey, what are you doing? Can I play too? Watch his face. Look at the difference. What builds self-esteem? Being praised or being enjoyed, played with, have fun. Right? Also, you guide them into making good choices so they're nice. When they feel good about themselves, and that's what a leader does, you bring out the best in them, you make them like themselves, their self-esteem goes up. Children who are misbehaving have horrible self-esteem. It's in the toilet, guaranteed. If you feel good about yourself, you can't be mean to people. It just doesn't go together. It's like, it just doesn't work. But when you feel good about yourself, don't you treat people great? You ever have a great day? Like if you won lotto, wouldn't you be, oh, flowers, everybody here, yippee. You treat everyone great, you see? So self-esteem comes from being a good person, not being told you are. They make them earn it. They know the difference. They understand the difference. Earning it and being told you're great, two different things. Okay, I'm going to scroll ahead to make sure you're still here while I answer. I'm feeling better today. I'm actually able to walk a couple of blocks. I was hit by a car as a pedestrian 2 days ago. And thank God it was a Tesla. They stop when they hit something. And I could feel the car went boom really fast. The guy was whipping around a corner. He wasn't looking. I was on a crosswalk anyway. And as soon as, and all I was thinking was stay on top of the hood. That's all I was thinking is don't be pulled under. But geez, it stopped fast. If that was any other vehicle, I'd be dead. He came in fast. Anyway, so I'm feeling much better. going to physio and all that now. It's all good. I feel like I dodged a bullet. I feel so grateful. Isn't that crazy? I'm not glad it happened, but my God, I feel very lucky. Unbelievably lucky. Okay, Stephanie. I have 5 kids, oldest being 9 and 3 5-year-olds. 3 5-year-olds, the youngest 11 months. So you got triplets. I've worked with triplets a couple times. The youngest 11 months old. You definitely know your stuff. Behavior board is working and we are making progress. Thank you. So, oh, you're so welcome. I wouldn't have read that if I knew it was just a testimonial for me, but thank you so much anyway. Good for you. It just me. I always say to my clients when they say, oh, it's working. Thank you. And I say, don't thank me. You go celebrate. Take yourself out for dinner or something. You're doing the work. I just tell you what to do. You're the ones who do it. Right. So celebrate your success. Good for you, Stephanie. I'm very proud of you. You're doing the work. It works. You just got to do it. It's like anything. It's like diets or anything. It works. You just have to do it. But here's the thing. Getting respect is hard work because you're erasing some past mistakes. When you are maintaining respect, piece of cake, totally different thing. Totally different. I got respect when my kids were about 3 and then it was cemented. And then we just relaxed and had fun right through the teen years. There's the odd little glitch here and there, but nothing to write home about. Like it was pretty darn easy. People used to say to me all the time, you're so lucky you got such easy kids. But people who really knew me knew I put in the work. I earned that. I worked my butt off to get that. But it was worth it because then you can just sail. Maintaining it's easy. Oh, the only reason I tell that getting hit by a car story is I did order those. It was early morning, Sunday morning. Rainy and dark, but still, he didn't have to whip. He shouldn't have whipped around the corner. He could have seen me. I thought it through. I wore a light colored jacket and not all black like I normally would. So anyway, the whole point with that is you can't be too careful, especially with kids in that. I ordered armbands for myself and my daughter. We both live downtown and we're out in traffic a lot. So I ordered, and they're not just reflective. They light up, they blink. I mean, I don't know if they have sirens. I don't care with, confetti going. I don't know what they got going on, but I don't care how I look. I'm wearing these things everywhere if it's even the least bit dark from now on. And you can't be too careful, right? I just thought, oh my God, thank God it was me and not my kids. First thing that went through my mind. Thank God it was me. Yeah, that's a mother, right? And a grandmother. Okay, how do I tame my brighter? She's 15 months. I don't know what that means. Biter? Yeah, you just say no and push her away from you and then maybe read a book, but don't let her bite again. The first bite, not much you can do, right? So you just say no and you push her away gently and then you look like you're looking at something else and hopefully she'll look away. Yeah, it just takes time, but you got to be consistent. They learn through consistent corrective actions, not words, just one word. No, it just starts the ball rolling. No is just letting them know they just did something wrong. And then the consistent corrective action is what teaches them, the lesson. So yeah, you're just sort of pushing her away for a bit so she can't get too close to you again. And if she keeps coming at you, just keep her away. They just take time. They're going to do crazy stuff. Not all of them. Some toddlers, I always say there's 4 things that toddlers are born to do. They're never going to do. It's in their DNA. One is biting and hitting and that, being aggressive, right? The other one is climbing. The other one is running. And the other one is tantrums. One of my listeners said, my kids got all 7. She said, I added 3. So my daughter had none of those. My son had tantrums. He didn't have a lot of them, but he had them. So yeah, they're either going to have these things or they're not, but they take time to get out of them. It's in their DNA. Oh, thanks for your support, Ashley. So you must be new. I just gained today as of now, 10 minutes ago, I gained 20,000 new followers on Facebook. And I don't take that for granted. I'm very appreciative of that. I'm 64 years old. I just came on social media hard 2 years ago, blew up overnight. Like, I just can't believe it. My business was quite different before. A lot of teachers and doctors were referring me, stuff like that. It was more referral stuff. And, but yeah, then I went on TikTok and blew up overnight. It was unbelievable. Who would think? An old lady talking. Plus, I was in my bathroom filming like this, just holding my camera, like just trying to hold it still, just talking about parenting, and it blew up. Isn't that bizarre? Like, who would have thought? Bizarre. Anyway, so I'm just very grateful. Now my daughter's working with me full time. She does all my social media, all my marketing, and all my planning. She tells me what to do. I got in trouble this morning. I sent out an email she didn't like. I have no filter. I just say it like it is. And now she's on board. She's like a partner in the business. So it's her business too, right? I got in trouble. Thank God we're mother and daughter. We can just say it. We don't fight. We just have these little squabbles from time, but we've never fought. Like, we're just not confrontational. So, but yeah, I was in big trouble. Couldn't find the behavior board. It is there. It's in the newsletter. When you sign up for the newsletter, it'll arrive. That's where it is. And it says that. It says the behavior board comes with it. Oh, what time is it? Okay, I don't want to be late because what I do is I'm on YouTube the whole time. That's where all of these lives are saved. And then I hop from Facebook for 30 minutes, Instagram for 30 minutes, and TikTok for 30 minutes. So I'm an hour and a half. And for that whole hour and a half, I'm on YouTube filming and answering questions. I've sent my daughter all of your videos. My grandson is almost 2, and I didn't want to insult her, but I really agree with everything you teach. I did the same things, basically. Everyone compliments me on my great kids. Yeah, I work for it. Yeah, you got to work for it. Once you get it, though, maintaining it's just fun. Like, I just had fun with my kids. They were self-disciplining. That's what happened. Because they knew, I always said to them, if you're good, life is good. If you're bad, life ain't so good. I'll make sure of that, because that's my job. I'm your mom. So they knew if they made a poor choice, I'd just say, oh, that wasn't very good, was it? What are we going to do about it? And then they'd say, oh, how about no TV tonight? I'd say, I just brush my hair for 5 minutes. That's pretty much how it went. And then I never had to discipline them. I was the one in trouble all the time because I'd promised to do. I promise, get off my back. I promise I'll do it tonight. And then, of course, I'd forget. And the next morning, oh, my God, they love that. Mom, remember last night you promised you were going to make muffins? I don't see no muffins. And I go, oh, shoot, I forgot, didn't I? What do you want? We'd love to go to the water slide park today after school. I'd say, fine, I'll bring your suit. So that's how it went. We had a lot of fun. It was just fun. But I worked for that. I earned that. I earned that. The first 3 years of their life, I earned that. After that, sailed right through the teen years. Maintenance is easy. Should I add my husband to the chore board, trying to help our toddler with the routine? Well, I don't really know about the chore board. Oh, you mean like getting him to do his chores? Yeah, I would do that with him too. Yeah. A lot of my couples, my clients, they use the behavior board as a couple. And they keep it separate. I don't want to go into great detail, but the consequences for this one wife were, they showed it to me. The dad, oh my God, he was so funny. Yeah, I don't embarrass easily, but I actually turned red. It was graphic. And, but yeah, they used it as a couple. Lots of people do, but they used it in a very creative way. So that was quite interesting. I got a lot of my clients are really funny. Like that, I went through a whole rodeo. Like when one client hires you, often their friends do too, because they'll recommend me or they'll say, "What's going on with your family? You seem to be happy," and they'll hire me. I went through this whole rodeo, and my God, each one was funny. I mean, every single one of them was these. They were just hilarious, and they're all Southern. Oh God, it was fun. Okay, doing the boot camp. 9-year-old son fits occasionally with very emotional, aggressive outbursts, even though I ignore him. My 20-month-old is taking notes and is now trying to be aggressive with siblings and yells. Okay, if you're doing the boot camp course, if it's that bad, when they get violent, that might be coaching. So, and the boot camp course is still good to have for reference material, but I would almost think if he's getting that bad, I don't know why he's doing that. I would have to assess the situation. Otherwise, just keep doing what you're doing and stay calm. But the aggressive outbursts, okay, let's say during an outburst, they pick up a remote and throw it, okay? When he's still having a tantrum, don't say a word. After the tantrum or outburst is finished, you say to him, okay, you threw the remote, so the consequence will be, here's the consequence for that. But you don't discuss the outburst. It's an accelerator. Don't discuss that. Well, the reason I did that was because but he can't deny throwing the remote. You punish the action, not the scene around it. Okay, don't discuss the outbursts. He'll just blame you for it. Pretty much guaranteed. He'll blame someone else for it. It's not his fault. It's not his fault. It's everybody else's fault. He's the victim here. That's why he had to have an outburst, right? Don't even get into that conversation. You will regret it. Anyway, I got to go over to Instagram now. Check me out there, or else you can look at the link above. You get my courses, coaching, everything's up there. Free behavior board too. Anyway, thanks for joining me. I'm going over to Instagram. I'm on YouTube the whole time. Happy parenting. Okay. I'm actually not late. I'm usually late for Instagram Live. There we go. Oh, done. I was watching the clock this time. Okay, there we go. Perfect. 5 o'clock. If I do say so myself. Yeah, I'm usually late for this one. Okay. Okay, this is Tabitha. My 16-month-old started to get up from bed. How do I keep her there? You advise work to put her into sleep for months. You advise work to put her to sleep for months. I don't understand that. I don't understand that. Okay. She's 16-month-old. My kids are pretty young when they were on a mattress on the floor, like a ground bed. I guess that's the same thing as a ground bed. Anyway, so what I would do is you just keep putting her back in bed, but she's awfully young. I might even sit in a chair beside her mattress and give her your hand, but pretend you're falling asleep in the chair. Do not let her climb into your lap. Just keep putting her back down. Because she's so little, I might recommend doing it that way. Okay, welcome to Instagram Live. My name's Lisa. I'm a parenting coach. I'm a mom and I'm a grandma. This is a brand new hat that I just got from my granddaughter. She's about 9.5 months old. Anyway, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, check out the link above and you can see my free behavior board, my courses, coaching, etc., etc. Anyway, it's all in the link above. So let's get going with your questions. I'll do my best to answer a bunch of them. I also throw a bunch of other stuff in because if I just answer questions, you get the idea that all I talk about is discipline. That's a very tiny part of what I teach. I teach connection with your kids. I do not teach discipline. You ask my clients, discipline, yes, but mostly it's connection. You connect with kids and add some discipline in as necessary. And anyway, that's what I teach. That's why I kind of take control of these and I don't just answer all the questions anymore. I throw other stuff in because discipline is important, but it's just a tiny part of what I'm all about. I teach leadership. Okay. Now, leadership is about connecting, not discipline. Discipline's necessary and it's part of it, but it's a very small part. You deal with bad behavior, then you focus on the good kid. You focus on the connecting, the bonding. Okay. That's where all your focus has to go. Okay, this is from, I don't know what your name is here. Okay, I'm following your advice for the tantrums and it's working great. What do I do when I pretend to file my nails and he wants to cuddle? Is he still tantruming or is he just finished the tantrum and kind of coming down off it? Okay, so you're filing your nails and he wants to cuddle while he's tantruming. You should be standing up and just kind of like if he wants to cuddle, just ignore it if he's still tantruming. You always ignore the tantrum. Okay, but once he's done, you don't console after a tantrum. You know what that's saying? I'm so sorry for you. Don't do that. If they're, I need a hug or whatever, right after a tantrum and they're just coming down off it, like they got the tantrum hangover, right? So they're just finishing it up. This is what I would do. I go, you're okay. Let's go read a book. I'm making light of it. I'm bringing them up to my energy now. They're just coming down from that. If you console them right after a tantrum, you look like you feel bad for them and that tantrum was something to feel sorry about. You didn't even see it. That's the way you want to view that. Never discuss a tantrum either, not before, during, or after. Big mistake. Any attention for a tantrum or around a tantrum is fertilizing it. It's going to grow. I don't want to go on about why I do that because I'm kind of done with that now. People have questioned me a lot. I used to answer that a lot. I don't answer it so much. You've probably seen enough of me by now, or you can look up all my tantrum videos and it'll explain why you ignore a tantrum, why it's so important. Five-year-old son hits his sisters when he gets upset, when he gets accidentally hurt while playing or doesn't get his way. He knows it's wrong. Why does he keep doing this? Well, I don't really know. Put down no hitting for all the kids. I don't know if the others hit. I don't know. But you could just target him, but don't make it obvious because you put everyone on there, say no hitting. You could. I don't know how old they are, though. Are they younger or older? Kind of, it's different. Are they younger or older? Accidentally hit. Guessing they might be older. I don't know. I don't want to answer that now because I need to know the age. Okay. I'll try and keep an eye out, but I might get distracted and not answer that. Okay, now let's go here. My 6-year-old is very impulsive and he disconnects or shuts down when being directed. Oh, no, he's just snubbing you. He tends to have friendship problems because he likes to be in control. How can I guide him? You guide him by not putting up with it yourself. How you allow them to treat you is often how they treat their peers and everybody else. So be really careful with that. Yeah, he's not disconnecting or shutting down. He's snubbing you. He's giving you the finger. Yeah. And disconnect when being directed. I don't know what you mean by, you mean corrected? But yeah. I don't know quite what you mean by that. Sorry. But yeah, he's just snubbing you. He's treating you like crap. Yeah. Check out my behavior board. And it goes through the first 3 weeks. After that, when redirected, I don't quite know, but I don't know what's going on though. Like I don't have enough there. Like I don't have enough because there's so many different answers for that one. Yeah, I would just try the behavior board, put down no hitting. And if he does, there's a consequence. But what are they doing? Are they doing something to antagonize him? Often the hitter is the victim and parents don't realize that. So if they're older, they might be antagonizing him. I don't know. Teasing him, liking to see him get in trouble. Like they like to see him get upset. I don't know. So watch it and also correct them. Say no teasing your brother. And watch them like a hawk for a little while. You gotta get on top of this stuff. It's hard work initially. So I'm just reading YouTube. Okay, 6.5-year-old has a huge meltdown if he doesn't get his way. That's a tell. It means that he's been in charge. So I would suggest if he's 6.5 and he's still doing that, I would suggest the boot camp course. You can try the behavior board. It's completely free. So you got to start exercising some leadership. Have some rules and consequences. We all learn through consequences. Don't discuss bad behavior. You know, these lectures, these mini therapy sessions, it's absolutely ridiculous. You have a consequence. Could you imagine a cop pulling you over for speeding and just giving you a lecture? I'd go, thanks for that, and then boom, speed off. Not in the car I have. If you saw it, you'd laugh. But anyway, but yeah, it's consequences. So yeah, he's just used to getting his own way. That's all. Yeah, it's a learned behavior. They only do what works past the age of about 4. 3 and 9 months and 4. They really only do what works. So that says to me it's working. You got to get your leadership sorted out. Remember, we're not fixing kids. Everyone wants to fix their kids as if they're broken. It's not about the kids. They're just reacting to your parenting, your lack of leadership. That's it. Work on yourself. I've worked with hundreds of kids. I managed to get respect with all of them. Was it them or me? Did I just get all those really difficult kids that I was working with? Did I just get them on a good day? No, it's me. It's like that 8-year-old kid. I'd never met him before and I had to work with him. And he said to me, if you don't give me what I want, I'm going to have a fit. And I said to him, bring it on. And he never did. You can see him processing. Oh, she knows what she's doing. They're just reflecting you. They're just a reflection of you. So yeah, work on your leadership skills. That's all I teach here. I teach parenting. I don't teach kidding. Kids are just reacting to you. That's it. They're misbehaving. Work on yourself. Yeah, it's not them. It's you. Always. Always. Unless there's some medical diagnosis. I just did a video. I'm going to look it up here. And it talks about that. I don't know where it turned. My daughter does all this, so I never know where anything. I can't even figure it out. Let me see here. Try and figure it out. I don't know how to look at social media. Okay, BratBusters parenting. Oh, there we go. It's a video and it's about 3 videos back. It's not one of the pinned ones. It's the 3rd one after the pinned one. And it's called Blaming Kids for Their Bad Behavior. Parents blaming kids. It's just called Blaming Kids for Their Bad Behavior. Like, are you blaming them for it? Big mistake. Big mistake. Look at that one. Oh, I don't let people in on my lives. I only did it once. It was a total disaster. They tried to sell their stuff to my audience. I was horrified and I couldn't get rid of them. Okay. What are your thoughts on giving kids choices? For example, you can get down from the couch or I will get you down. That sounds like a threat. I don't do that. No, not at all. That's a threat. I sort of, I don't want to go on about that because that's a direct threat, that one. And there's other things that could sound like that aren't a threat, but that one is. Okay. I can't believe every kid has respected you from the beginning. God, no, not from the beginning. I had to work to earn that. I had to earn that. That one kid, when he says, if you don't be a fit, and I said, bring it on, that was unusual. It was that fast. He was only 8, though. I specialize in troubled, delinquent, violent teenagers. Do you think that happened right away? No, not at all. That's why I'm doing this now, because I thought, wow, I figured that out. I figured out how to get respect with violent, delinquent, troubled teenagers. Wow. I was impressed with myself. I'll be honest. It's not about outsmarting them. It's not. It's about respect, connecting and respecting them. It's just so basic. And everyone wants to be respected. That's all I did. I don't tell the story about, I have a story I tell in coaching all the time about a teenager I worked with. I don't tell that in live because it's a big one. It's the pool story, next level though. The pool story is, it's pinned on here and it's called Example of Leadership Parenting. It sums up leadership the way I look at it. Yeah, I worked my butt off to get respect with those kids. So it didn't always happen. No, not right away. I had to work for that. I had to earn it. But that one kid, I don't think he'd even heard about me either. Sometimes they've heard about me. And with the teenagers, they just up their skills because they think, oh, they like her, but I'm gonna run her through the gravel here. So yeah. Was it easy? Nope. No. It was very difficult, but I never listened to what anyone told me to do. I just used my own instincts because I'd already had decades of experience with kids before I did the teenage stuff. So I just had to figure it out on the fly and it worked. They're the ones who told me to start this business. They said, you got to teach this stuff, Lisa. I didn't even like myself till I met you. So yeah, it's about making them feel good. But I don't put up with crap. At the same time, I don't put up with anything. So it's a balance. Okay. So yeah, I had to work for that. Is too much attention on behavior a thing? Oh, absolutely. You deal with bad behavior, but you focus on the good kid. Focus on the positives, the joy, the happiness, the connecting, the bonding. The other stuff is say, oh, that was bad. Here's a consequence. Now, do you want to go read a book? It's like that. Don't focus on bad behavior, but deal with it. That's why. Now, I would never use a behavior board because I'm level 10 with what I teach because I invented it, right? I invented leadership parenting. That's all me. Like, no, I know other people are teaching it, but I've been doing this for 17 years. I invented. Well, I'd never heard of anyone else doing it, put it that way. So anyway, but a whole bunch of people are teaching it and using my stuff word for word. They're copying my videos and they're saying the exact same words. Isn't that unbelievable? They're not giving me credit. That's okay. That's okay. But anyway, as long as it's being spread, that's fine. But anyway, children desperately need, crave, and want a leader. It's a natural instinct for a child to want a leader, to need one, to crave one, okay? If you send your children out there in the world without a leader, they're going to be very susceptible to peer pressure, bullying, the drug dealer on the corner, the internet, the Kardashians. You get the idea, because they're going to be looking for leadership elsewhere. You want it to be you. The leader is the one that they feel the safest with. They feel the best about themselves around. When they're around the leader, their self-esteem is very high. Now, do you want to be around that person who makes you feel good? Yes. Do you want to tell that person things? Yes. Do you want to rely on that person to keep you grounded? Yes. That's what a leader does for children. It's a positive. This isn't negative. It's positive. So yeah, but I don't focus on bad behavior at all or good behavior. I don't reward good behavior either. That's saying that they're normally rotten. Could you imagine your husband saying, you were really good today. I'm going to give you a gold star. Could you imagine? It's the exact same patronizing, insulting thing as you're doing with kids if you give them a reward chart for good behavior. It's very insulting and patronizing. You're basically saying you're normally rotten. If you should happen to be good, you'll get a star. See how nasty that is? It's horrible. I don't know who invented that, but yeah, as far as I'm concerned, they just didn't get it. And it works in school. That's an institution. It's a business. That's different. Parenting's not like any other role. It's personal 24/7. Behavior board is in the link above. It's completely free and also has a toddler section on it now. The behavior board is the training wheels with all this stuff. The courses, the boot camp courses, is what you do after the behavior board. But for toddlers, I also have a boot camp course for that, for toddlers also. You're starting to exercise some leadership, but they're not really quite getting it yet. But you can see a shift in them. Yeah, they're starting to listen to you a little bit better, but they're still going to try crazy stuff because they're toddlers. They're nuts, right? How much is coaching? You can go look on there in the wait list. Sometimes I took a client on, they signed up, I think Saturday, they put the intake form in, and Saturday within an hour I hired them. It was the age that I was after. Like I like to fill in the gaps with ages. So I can't say what the weight, and I don't want to tell you what the ages I'm looking for right now is. It depends on the ages of your kids right now. It could be today. Yeah, because I've got, sometimes I remember one day I had a while ago, a couple years ago, and I think I had like 7 sessions in one day, and they were all teenage crisis. Now, I'm pretty confident with what I do. I'm very experienced. I'm old. I've been doing this forever. That was a brutal day because imagine crisis work, life and death crisis work with teenagers, 7 in a row, 7 families in a row. And I remember thinking, yeah, I got to mix up the ages because I wasn't doing it because I do specialize in crisis work with teenagers. So, but yeah, I used to do a lot more of that, but now I mix it up. Can you, good question. I like this one. This is New Mothers Offerings. Can you explain more about negotiation with teens, please? I have a 12 and a 14-year-old wanting to understand more about the negotiation process. Okay, you always come in harder than what you want. Let's say you got a teenager. I don't believe in curfews, but this is what I do because they don't know if they're going to have a good time when they're out. I'd say, hey, how about you come home at midnight tonight? And I really don't care if they're until 1. And this is when they're 16 or whatever, right? So I'd say, and I always picked them up. I always knew where they were and who they were with. It's even more important. Anyway, so I'd say, how about you come home at 12 tonight? But I knew they were probably, and they'd say, you know what? This might be a really good, we're going to be playing video games all night. So can we make it 2? And I'd say, I'll tell you what, how about we cut the difference and make it 1? And they would go, sure. So I was always like, whenever I asked them of something, I'd say, how about 12 tonight? You want to come home at 12 tonight? I always sort of said it like that. And then I'd say, well, what do you think? What do you want to do? Or if they'd say, no, I don't want to do that. Well, my kids wouldn't have said that because they were used to doing this. But when I'm working with clients, I say to them, I think it's fair enough that I ask you to put your dirty clothes in the hamper. What do you want from me? I think that you should be cleaning up after dinner like I do. But what am I doing that you think I should be doing better? Like, in other words, you see, give and take. Like I could use some work too. I'm not perfect. I know you're thinking, I already do all the work around the house. I know you're thinking that. And it's true. By the way, with teenagers, do not be a right fighter. You will lose every time, even when you're right. Do you understand? Do you want me to elaborate on that? Do not be a right fighter with teenagers. You will lose every time, even though you're right. Does that make sense? I'm going to write that down just in case one day I might do a video on that. Do not be a right fighter with teens, even when you're with teens, as you will lose every single time, even when you're right. Does that make sense? Or do you want me to elaborate? Explain more. Okay. Being right, and this is with adults too. I'm pretty decent sometimes at being right, and I'll tell you why. What I mean is, that sounded ridiculous. I'm always right. What I mean is, if I'm gonna make a point about something, not with my daughter, by the way, we're ridiculous with each other, especially me. We're very different. Like, what I mean is, like, I sometimes just like to say, argue stuff just to get her riled up. She's much more, I'm crazy. My daughter's sane. Put it that way. I'm kind of nuts. Anyway, I have no filter. She's all about filter and doing the right thing. But yeah, anyway, so it's different with us. Let's say you're right about something. And even with an adult, and you say, Actually, you were wrong and I was right, even though you were right. Does it solve things? Now think about that with a teenager. A teenager says, well, I always help out around here, and they don't do a darn thing. You know they don't. Okay. Now the gut reaction is, you don't help. What exactly did you do? Can you explain one single thing you've done? And then they would tell you to F off and they'd leave the room, right? Who just won that? Nobody. But instead they say, I help out all the time. Say, and I appreciate your intention there. I really do. But I'll tell you what, how about we do, and then you start negotiating. Don't be a right fighter with a teenager, especially. I don't suggest you do it with anybody, to be honest. But because being right feels good in the moment, but it kind of doesn't at the end. Do you know? I'm pretty good at, we know you're nuts. That's why we keep showing up. I am crazy. Oh, I could tell you stories about myself. God, I'm stupid sometimes. What did I do the other day? Oh, God, I do the dumbest things. Anyway, yeah, I am nuts, but I'm a good leader with kids. I'm very much a follower in my personal life, though. So the reason I tell people that, that's not because, more about me. It's because a lot of my clients will say to me, like, how can I be a leader for my kids? I'm not like that in my personal life. Neither am I. I'm a follower. I don't want to know where we're going, what I'm eating, what time we're leaving. I don't want to know any of that. Just tell me where to go, what time and what I'm eating. I have no interest in organizing anything. And this is only people I like and care about, right? Anybody else, I wouldn't listen to what they tell me to do. But yeah, I'm very much a follower. So, but with children, it's different. Children need you to be a leader. That's your role as a parent, is to be a leader. So you don't have to worry about being a leader in your personal life. You can still be one as a parent. Because I was very much that way with my kids, but certainly not in my personal life at all. I had a friend who, she was like me. We were followers. And I remember once we went out on a Saturday night, and it was like 6:00, and we went out. Should we just go out for dinner now? Yeah, let's go. And then we finished eating by 7:30. We said, well, I guess that's it. We'll just go home. See ya. It's like 7:30. We didn't know what to do because we're both followers. We laughed at that later. That was pretty funny. Oh, good one. Thank you. That really is helpful. And I've been stuck in that. And sometimes I just say, maybe you're right. Yeah, maybe you're right. Good one. Because you don't want to accelerate the anger. And by being right, you're going to accelerate the anger. You know why? As soon as they start arguing, it's because they know they're wrong. Almost always. So think about it. They already know they're wrong. They don't need you telling them. You just say, yeah, I could be wrong here. Yeah. And even if you both know that you're right and they're wrong, it's still better to take that. My mom used to do that. If I was arguing something with her, she'd go, yeah, you're probably right. I knew I was wrong. She gave me nothing to argue with after that. And I respected her for it. I knew what she was doing. It's your responsibility to set the mood, is what I'm saying. Is you stay on the high road, which is the calm road. When they go on the low road, which is the arguing road, it's okay. They're going to fight to be right. They're usually wrong, or they often are. Not always. They're often wrong. And that's okay. If you point out that they're wrong, you're on the low road. Stay on that high road. I'm going to use this teen tool with my husband. Yeah, it works with everybody. My daughter's brilliant at that. She's not a right fighter at all. The two of us are together. I think, yeah, it's just the two of us are. Yeah, she's my business partner too. So, but yeah, she's very quick to just say, yeah, I guess I'm wrong. And and then how can you fight that? Nobody ever fights her because she just, yeah, I guess it's like she just takes the high road. She kind of makes you look like a fool just because she's taking the high road. So yeah, you end up, sliming around in your own slop because she's on the high road. So yeah, it's interesting. It is about handling people. That's what it is. Well, I used that once years and years ago. I had this person that was really annoying, pushy, bossy as anything. And one day I thought, what am I going to do with this person? Like, everything I said, well, why don't you do it that way? You know what you should do, like that kind of, bossy. There's a difference between leadership and bossiness. Leaders do what's right for everybody. Bossy people just do what they want. What's all about them. It's all me, 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 me. That's the difference. A leader is not a bossy person. They're very different. Okay, so this person was very bossy. Anyway, and so one day, this person said to me, well, you know what you should do? You should have done it that way. And I said, crazy Lisa, you should have. They went like this. And they never came at me again. They knew they were being handled. And I guess I kind of looked like this too. Crazy Lisa, like I'd had enough. So yeah, it's a good one, isn't it? Shuts them right down. What can they say to that? What can they possibly come back at you with? So think about it that way. It's not about being right. It's about being smart and calm and staying on the high road. Hard to do. Hard to do. I'm not a marriage counselor, but I do a lot of that in coaching. And that's one of the things I teach is stay on the high road, not the right road. I understand what you're saying by not creating an argument, but couldn't that be patronizing? I think it's in the way you say it. Yeah, I guess you're right. That would be patronizing and say, yeah, I'll think about it. Maybe you got a point there. See the difference? It's not patronizing. It's sending a message that I'm not going to get into that. But yeah, if you say it, well, I guess you're right. That would be patronizing. But yeah, no, you might have a point there. I'll think about that. Yeah. Anyway, do you want to go get a cup of tea or something? You see, it's different. It does work. It works actually really well. I can't go into it, but I did have someone I was working with, and they used that, and it was worked very well. Much to their surprise. And I said, it's going to be hard to do. And they said it was agony to not fight back when they knew they were in the right. But it worked beautifully. So do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? Okay, here we go. I'm guilty of doing the lectures that I thought was a heart-to-heart to explain the why in better choices. Any tips on better avenues in making a strong bond with her? Fun, connecting, just have fun. Focus on joy and positivity. And focus on, it's all in her world. So if you've got a teenager or any kid really, you always bond, connect in their world, not in yours. So like, I'll give you a good example. My son was 15 and he was into heavy metal music and video games. I'm not into either one of those. But because I wanted to connect with him as he got older, that was his favorite things. So I made sure that I made myself available to ask questions about it. Next thing you know, he's handing me a controller. The one thing that we did do together was Guitar Hero, because even I was so bad at all that stuff, but I could still do that. Decent, you know what I mean. And then he made playlists of me. He found some heavy metal music that I actually liked. So he used to make playlists for me. So you connect in their world, okay? It is all about them. It truly is. But you get it all back because you get the connection. So you enter in their world, but really you're getting something out of it too. You're connecting with your kid. Plus, when you're sitting there in their world, you'd be surprised what they tell you. They just start talking. Okay. And watch out for those heart to hearts. They don't want your advice. If they ask for it, you can be very careful. If my kids ask for their advice, I'd say, well, I don't know. What do you think you should do? Then we discuss it back and forth. I never really told them what to do. My mother was like that. She never told me what to do. She goes, well, you're a smart girl. You can figure it out. And then we discuss it. And I always thought I was solving all my own problems. She was right there guiding me along the way. I didn't even know it. She was way ahead of her time. Are we being mean by saying we heard you the first time? Yeah, that's a bit of a nyeh. It's a bit of a one. It's snarky. How would you feel if your kid said that to you? It's snarky. I heard you the first time. If they said that to you, how would you feel? Just think about it. Switch it. Okay, I'm going to get going over to TikTok now. If you want to join me over there, you're welcome to do so. BratBusters Parenting. And check out the link above. You can get my free behavior board. It has a toddler section now on it, where you can look into my boot camp courses. I have 2 of them, one for toddlers, one for older kids. And then, and coaching, of course, that's one-on-one with me. If you're interested, check that out too. Anyway, I'm going over to TikTok. Thanks so much for joining me. There you go. Okay. Taking a break. My voice is kind of going. It's my last appointment of the day is this. Sometimes I'll have a coaching session after. I don't like to do them that late, but I get clients all over the world, so I have to be flexible. Like one poor client, this couple, I didn't realize the time, like when the time difference was. They got up at, I think it was 4:30 or 5 in the morning for a session because it was the only time they thought that I could do it. We ended up finding a better time for them. 5 o'clock in the morning. How would I explain the way they looked? One eye was open, the other one wasn't. I'm not even sure they heard anything I said, but anyway, it was funny. So, okay, let's get going now. Oh no, I'm just going to wait a sec. I'm on TikTok now. And then I'm also, oh, Tabitha, you're so on time today. Yeah, good. Wasn't I good today? Yeah, I've been really bad lately. I'm usually 5 minutes late for Instagram and TikTok, but today I made a point of being on time. Anyway, so I'm on YouTube the whole time. That's where I save all of these lives. And our podcast is going really well. I won't go into it, but yeah, it's surpassed anything we ever expected. So, and it's brand new. It's only been out for, I think, 3 weeks now. So you can check out the podcast. My daughter and I do it together. And it's everywhere. It's BratBusters parenting podcast. And it's everywhere, like Apple, Spotify. It's on YouTube. It's on my website. You can listen to it on the website. But on YouTube, you can watch. My daughter and I do it together. Your daughter would be proud today. Yeah, I am. I'm always in trouble with her. She's very efficient, very driven, always does the right thing. I'm more of a Liz Cannon. I'm okay with that. It actually works out really well because we complement each other. And also our jobs don't overlap at all. Like I'm the product and she's behind all the sales, the marketing and all that stuff, social media. So our jobs don't overlap at all. But yeah, to say she's organized and driven is an understatement. She loves business and she's very, always does the right thing. She was born that way, very cautious. She's very thoughtful. She's the easiest. God, she was an easy kid. Nothing I did. She was just easy. Born that way. My son was more normal. He had tantrums. Is Amy sitting there with you? No, she's at home. We usually work apart, but we're on, FaceTime a lot. And we live like 5-minute walk from each other. But yeah, tomorrow she's coming over and we're going to be filming some more podcasts tomorrow. She's got 2 of them in her at a time. I can do like 5 or 6 at a time, but she doesn't like the camera as much as I do. So I'm energized by the camera and she finds it more draining because she's always wants to say the right thing, whereas I don't worry about that. So, but yeah, so we usually film 2. Sometimes we'll film 3 and then trash one of them. We just don't like it. But yeah, we usually film. So we're doing that tomorrow and we see each other pretty much every day. Walk to the gym together or something. But yeah, we're very lucky. Imagine working with your kid. I wish I could work with my son too. He's got a whole other career. But yeah. Okay. Okay. Oh, I haven't introduced myself. I can never remember. Did I introduce myself here? Anyway, it's on TikTok now. I'm Lisa. Go in the link above. Behavior board courses and coaching if you're interested. Okay, I'm just here answering questions and I like to throw a bunch of other stuff in too, because if I'm just answering your questions, it's all about discipline. And really discipline is not what I'm all about. I'm more about connecting. So I like to stay focused with that and try and really emphasize the connection with your kids. Because you don't just want obedient little soldiers. You don't just want to raise nice kids. You want to have fun while you're doing it. You want to find the joy in parenting. But you got to deal with the bad behavior, get that sorted out first if you're dealing with stuff like that. You got to get that figured out sort of first. But you want to connect at the same time. You want to mix the two. That's why your consequence is, if your rule on the behavior board is no yelling, your consequence is you have to play hide and seek for 10 minutes. Unless they're 16 years old, obviously you're not going to do that. But you know what I mean. It's about connecting with them or doing something for them. Okay, I'm just going to scroll ahead a little bit. Okay. Can you adopt my 2-year-old and send her back when she's trained? I'll tell you what, that's my least favorite age. I'll take them back. I'll take her when she's 16. You'll be more thankful then anyway. Teenagers are my favorite age. Toddlers are my least favorite age. The reason is they're all feet, no brains, cute as a button, but it's constant safety. They're great when you're home. I childproofed my whole house. It was great. I love them. But every time I go out with them, you can't take your eyes off them. That's why it was my least favorite age. Just because I'm a real safety nut. That's why it drove me nuts. Because you could never just relax. You're always watching them. Is sending my child to his room for timeout? No, I don't do that. I really hate timeout. I think it's humiliating. They don't learn anything, nothing. It's just humiliation. It's shaming and blaming. So yeah, don't do timeout. I don't know how old they are. Sitting next to me, it can be okay depending on the situation. But yeah, I've got a million other things that you do, but check out the behavior board if they're 3 and over. If not, the behavior board has a toddler section on it now. So check that out. You might want to look up the pool story. The actual name of the video, it's pinned here on TikTok, and it's called Example of Leadership Parenting. That explains what I'm all about with leadership. You deal with bad behavior, then you focus on the good kid. When they like themselves, when they're with you, they want to please you. That's where you want to go. That's your goal, is that their self-esteem is your goal. And when you're the result, and when you're the cause of their high self-esteem, how do you think they're going to treat you? Pretty darn good. And timeout doesn't teach anything. It's shaming and blaming. I just think it's not good. Okay, I get asked this all the time. I've been asked to teach this in schools and everything too. I only teach parenting. So can a child care educator use these same strategies with the kids or parents only? I only teach parenting. But a lot of the strategies, I know a lot of teachers, a lot of my clients are teachers, principals, child psychologists, and they say they use some of my stuff on their clients or students. So, but parenting is different from all those other roles. That's why I can't do their jobs either. My God, teachers are my idols. I'll tell you what they go through. I couldn't do it. I know I could never be a teacher. I'm very good with connecting with individual kids, like 2 or 3 at a time. To have to deal with 30, it would water it all down for me. It's just not my thing. I just don't like it. So I mother all the kids I worked with, basically. So yeah, teaching is not for me at all. I would have been horrible at it. Actually, I think I would have been pretty good at it, but it's not what I like. But yeah, some of the stuff you have to decide what would cross over and what would work. I don't know anything about childcare. So yeah. Said toddler glued, 3.5-year-old acting. Oh, no, that's not the right one. Toddler glued to dad, lots of meltdowns. That can just become a control thing. So they want to be able to they can control dad easier. So that's why they're glued to him. And then they have a meltdown when they can't control him. It could be that. If so, just ignore when you have to. If dad's busy doing something, don't give that any attention. If he's screaming to be picked up or whatever. So yeah. And then mom can go in. Like I remember once, my kids were more like a mommy's kids, right? Because I was a stay-at-home mom, and I was the leader too. But they love their dad, but it's just different. The one they spend the most time with is often the one they do that with. Not always. Anyway, I remember once because they knew what I was like, and I said, "Dad's going to give you a bath tonight." And one of them, I don't know why, but they just didn't want him to. So but when I say something, it's happening. So I remember I heard. And I always told my husband what to say. Just say, do you want me to tell mom? Or just say, you're stuck with me. So I heard him say, you're stuck with me. So I knew one of the kids would have whispered it so I wouldn't hear. So he said, well, you're stuck with me. And so they didn't say anything. And then I heard another whisper. And I said, do you want me to get up and come in there? And all I heard was, no, never mind. I never even did anything. It's just the threat of me getting up and coming in there. See, I don't give in to those demands. Not at all. You're stuck with dad. Don't overthink it. Don't worry about it. Just you be in charge. Don't let them be in charge. It's manipulation, control. Okay, this one I don't like to answer, but I will anyway. My 16-month-old has started climbing. Everything is bolted down, but he pushes stuff to make the stools. Okay, put bells on things. The reason I don't like answering that is because it's a safety issue, and I'm not a safety expert, but I would, as a parent, put bells on things so you can hear them being moved. And it's much harder for them to turn a chair upright once it's upside down. So yeah, I know your house is going to look ridiculous, but they're just little. They'll outgrow this stuff, okay? So yeah, put bells and alarms on everything that you can, so you can at least be alerted when they're going to move something. But I'm going to read out my top 5 tips for parenting toddlers, because it's one of them sort of in there. Number 1, here it is. Number 1, childproof your home so you never have to say no. I was very good at that. There was nothing below the waist in my home that the kids couldn't touch, because I just wanted to be able to relax and enjoy my home and my kids, and which I did. It looked ridiculous. All the plants were up high. Someone noticed that they still are. Yeah, it's not because of that. But anyway. Number 2, set up a toy rotation system so they're never bored. Number 3, when you want to connect with a toddler, you do so in their world. You don't go to the nail salon with them. You go to the park and roll down the hill. They just start to look at you differently when you enter their world. It's a whole different level of connecting. Number 4, when you want to discipline a toddler, do so in their world. You don't use words and mini therapy sessions. That's for you. That's garbage, by the way. You use consistent corrective actions. Okay, so number 5, stop trying to figure them out. Toddlers are not figure-outable. They're brand new, fresh human beings. They're just forming. Imagine if you've only been in the world for 2 years. The first year, you're a potato laying on a mattress. They're brand new. I always call them crazy. It's just that they haven't developed sanity yet. They're not there yet. I always talk about the frontal lobe. That's when they can stop and think before they act. That's that impulse control stuff. Anyway, I always think of it like that punching bag in the back of your throat, this little dangly bit hanging here. I've actually seen pictures of it. It doesn't look anything like that, but I always think of the frontal lobe as this little dangly bit. Same with the punching bag in your throat. Anyway, it's funny how we think of things. Okay. Plus, I'm obviously not a doctor. I'm not qualified to discuss that stuff, but I know enough about kids to know that the frontal lobe definitely starts to form a bit different, and they start to be able to control their impulses a little bit better when they're about 3 years old. That's when they start to learn this stuff. I've seen it. Also, I remember years and decades ago, I used to say 3 years and 9 months is a big turn. They can start to learn empathy. It's a big turning point with children. 3 years and 9 months. I've been saying that for decades. Anyway, no one ever agreed with me. No, it's not. It's 3.5, or it's 2, or it's 5. It was 5 for a long time, I think. Now, I just read about a year or 2 ago that the scientists have now discovered that 3 years and 9 months is a turning point with toddlers. They start to become more individuals. They understand there's other people in the world too that kind of are like them. Otherwise, they just see the world from their own perspective, and they don't realize anyone else has that same sort of view. But yeah, so evidently, yeah, now they agree with me. Whatever. How to deal with a clingy preteen. She won't leave my side. A preteen or a tween is 9 to 12 years old. So I don't know. Is she in extracurricular stuff? And do you feed it when she's clinging on to you? Like, I would take her out places and say, well, you go do that, and then I'll go do this or whatever, and force her and say, you're okay. You go do that, and force her to do that. And don't be, oh, you were such a good girl for doing that. It makes it look like you feel like it was a big accomplishment. It's not. She can go out and do stuff on her own. Usually clinginess by that age means that you're feeding it. She's very insecure, socially awkward, potentially. So yeah, I would push the extracurricular stuff. Get her involved in art classes or something, but don't join with her. Drop her off and let her go and do that on her own. If it's safe, you know what I mean, if it's somewhere safe. So yeah, get her involved in other stuff. Now, another thing too, is that shy kids are often, well, it's kind of a long story, long explanation, but I'll try and make it quick here. School is a very tiny pool to draw from. You don't always meet people that you really connect with in school, especially if you're in a smaller school. And even that, when they're in lower grades, they're sequestered with 30 kids at a time. They don't even change classes, right? So they don't have a very big pool to choose from. So oftentimes the really shy kid in class, when they go out and do something extracurricular, they'll connect up with someone who they really get along with, and this whole other side of them comes out. That's when you have different personalities. You're sort of the same person, but different people bring out different things in you, with children too. So you want to get her exposed to as many different people as possible. So if you're going to put her in an art class, I would maybe go a few suburbs away so she won't know the same kids, and encourage her to do things. And then she might meet different kids, and she could actually not be in that cookie cutter, that sort of the identity that she sees herself in at school. Oh, geez. Did I explain that at all? Get her out of her comfort zone, get her out of her area around other kids. And also, it's best to put them in things where most kids are new. So it's not like she goes into a clique where everybody knows everybody. Yeah. I don't think I explained that very good, but anyway. Thank you. She's in cheer, but I'll try something new. Yeah, you get what I'm saying? The small pool, and she gets that same identity and same complexes because she's around the same kids all the time. Yeah. Oh, good. I did explain it. Okay, good. I never know. This is, I read something recently and I could not agree more. You can be good at something, but teaching it is a different skill altogether. I remember I've been doing this since 2007. I started my company. And the first year was kind of rough because I know how to do this, but I didn't know how to teach it yet. I haven't figured that out. So the first year, people were getting results, but nowhere near what I thought they should. And plus I was doing more public speaking and TV and radio and all that stuff. So I was just more out there and I had a column in the paper. I got all that stuff really fast. Anyway, so I did more of that. But the coaching, then about a year in, I invented the behavior board and put the parents on it. Changed everything because I was trying to teach parents the importance of you being accountable. A leader leads by example, not by dictating what you want kids to do, by showing them what to do. If I make a mistake, boy, I'm accountable. Kids I worked with, they loved it when I messed up. They loved it. I remember once I had a teenager, and I always say, if I ever mess up, I'll do this for you or whatever. I had to do something for them. I don't know what it was. Probably buy them a chocolate bar. I don't know what it was. Buy them something at the tuck shop. The tuck shop in Australia is the cafeteria kind of. But nothing's indoors there. It's all outdoors. Anyway, tuck shop is just where they go up and they buy something. It's like the food cart, food bus. What are those things called? Anyway, now I forgot my train of thought. Oh yeah, I remember once and being late. I'm a real stickler for being on time, and because it's just respecting other people, right? So, and I told these teenagers this, darned if I wasn't running late because the principal had kept me at the school. I was mentoring troubled teens. And the principal had asked me something. He wanted to talk about something. So, and I could see those teenagers, this one teenager was like this, watching me. And I was like in my 30s at this point. So this is like 30 years ago, or maybe 20, maybe would have been my late 30s. So anyway, and he's like this. So I knew I was going to be, I thought, oh, I'm going to be late. You know what I did? I hoofed it. I mean, fast. He had no idea. And I ran and I wasn't late at all. They were like shocked that I was fast for me. I'm not a good runner, but anyway. So yeah, but and how fun was that? How fun was that? That's respecting them. Because if I was late, I would have had to buy them all chocolate or something, right? So yeah, you got to be accountable. So, but it took me a while to figure out how to teach that. Okay. Alrighty. Now, let me see here. So I'm just looking at my notes. Sometimes, I write notes down that I want to talk about in a live, and then I keep forgetting to look at them. Just new stuff that comes up that I want to bring up. This was kind of cute. I've told this before, but I thought it was really cute. It was on a live, so I can talk about it because it was public already. And whenever I talk about stuff, I've already got the parents' permission, or it's nothing that's, personal really. Anyway, there was this comment, and they said, I think she was 8. Yeah, she was 8. And the parent said, how do I deal with this? My 8-year-old bullies other kids. And then she's really mean to other kids, bullies them all the time. Then she comes home crying because nobody likes her. She goes, what should I say to her? And I said, teach her, you have to be likable to be liked. Like, don't call her a bully or mean. Just say, are you likable? Would you like you if you met you? You got to be likable to be liked. She was, I would say, raised in the pleaser parent style, which means that she's catered to, entitled, and she doesn't learn how to treat people. So, but yeah, this would have shaken. She was old enough to understand that. You've got to be likable to be liked. She just was entitled. She just thought people should like her no matter what she was like. But yeah, so. Another thing that came up, I think a couple of weeks ago, was someone asked me, they said, how do I make my older kids the leaders for the younger kids? And I said, no. You're the leaders, nobody else. The teacher isn't the leader. Nobody else is the leader but you. It can be one parent or both, okay? And I said, what you want to do with older siblings is make them the heroes. Make them like, here, can you please help out? She looks up to you so much. Could you show her that? Make them the heroes, like the cape on. You know what I mean? Make them the heroes, not the leader. You're the leader, nobody else. You wouldn't put that on anybody else. Okay, actually, I have to get going. Thanks so much for joining me. Check out the link above. You can see my free behavior board, I don't have those mini courses anymore. I'm just so used to saying it. All my mini toddler courses are now just bundled up into the toddler bootcamp course. We were always going to do it that way. We just didn't do it right away. So anyway, they're all bundled in there. If you've already got them anyway, they're still fine on their own, but you can't buy them individually anymore. So I've got the 2 boot camp courses for toddlers and 3 to 12-year-olds. You can look into coaching one-on-one with me. We've got our podcast. We've got a whole bunch of stuff. It's all in the link above, bratbusters.com. Thanks so much for joining me. Happy parenting.